Hello, Spy Kids. My name is Mrs. Sweeney, and today I'm going to read to you one of my favorite stories. It's called The Cloud Artist. I don't know if you can see. And it is written by Sherri Maret and illustrated by Marisha Clark. Sherri and Marisha are both Native Americans, and they are members of the Choctaw tribe. Choctaw Native Americans live now mainly in Oklahoma, and they had a very proud tradition of passing down stories from one generation to another. This story is such a story, and it was passed down to the author by her Choctaw grandmother. Let me read to you what she says. My Choctaw grandmother told me this story when I was about knee-high. She told it to me many, many times. Now it is my turn to tell you. Be still and listen. I will try to tell it as my grandmother did. The other thing I really love about this book is that it's written in two languages. At the top of each page are the English words. At the bottom of each page are the words written in the Choctaw language. Because I only speak English, I will be reading to you the English words. A long time ago, when the rivers still flowed free and the land knew no fences, Alice and William lived in a small house in Choctaw country. Alice was a basket weaver and William was a wood carver. Together they had all they needed to be happy, though they longed for one more thing. Alice and William wanted a child. The years came and went, and when a child did not come, Alice grew sad. One evening, unable to sleep, Alice walked out into the moonlight and she called into the night. Please send us a child so that we can make our love bigger. Here's Alice calling. Oh, I need to get that position right. Calling out to the moon. Can you see her? She's asking for a child. Many months later, a baby girl arrived. Alice and William named the child Leona. They placed their daughter under a crimson quilt sewn by her mother and in a cradle covered by her father. Here was a baby Leona. You can see the quilt that her mother made and the cradle that her father made. And there's Alice and William looking over their new baby girl. Alice and William watched Leona grow with joy. They took her on long walks and introduced her to the plants and animals of their home. Once Leona could walk on her own, the little girl spent her days outside from dawn until dusk. Often she could be found nesting in the tall green grass, watching the clouds glide across the sky. Indeed, Leona might have happily spent her days like that forever, had not something quite unexpected happen on one particular day. Here's Leona lying in the grass looking at the clouds up above. Let's find out what happened from that one particular day. Playing in a meadow on top of one of their favorite hills, Leona watched a line of fluffy clouds walk across the blue sky. The clouds looked so very close, Leona raised her hands to touch one, and the cloud began to move. And then from one tiny cloud, a tiny bunny appeared. Leona giggled and waved her hands again. Another cloud became a bunny, and then another. Leona clapped her hands in delight and ran home to tell her parents. Okay, in this picture you can see Leona and you can see the bunnies up ahead. You see the bunnies in the sky? Mother, father, come with me, Leona said when she got home. I have something to show you. Her parents smiled. and followed their daughter outside. They had not walked very far at all when Leona raised her hand toward a little cloud floating nearby. Leona began to wave her hand back and forth as if painting with a paintbrush. Her parents looked up into the sky and gasped in surprise. The little cloud was now a little turtle. Alice and William had heard the Choctaw elders talk of the days when the people once painted with the clouds, but it had been generations since anyone had been born with that gift. They watched proudly as Leona turned a skinny cloud into a hare to race the turtle across the sky. This is Leona. You can see the turtle in the sky, and William and Alice are looking on. News of Leona's gift traveled like dandelion seeds on the wind. The tribe welcomed the return of the cloud painter, but it was the littlest Choctaws who happily sat for the hours watching Leona paint the sky, turning clouds into flowers and willow trees and animals big and small. You can see the Choctaw kids watching Leona paint the sky. Slowly but surely, Leona learned to tell stories in the sky. For the young, she painted ladybugs in stickball games. For the elders, she painted faces of loved ones who had walked on and days gone by. Leona learned how to make art that moved people to laughter and to tears. In doing so, Leona became a true sky artist. See all the pictures? And she's painting in the sky and how beautiful it looks. Then one day, a man from a traveling show came to town. He saw a cloud painting in the sky and followed it all the way to the little home of Alice and William. When the traveling man realized who had created the cloud art, he offered Leona a silver dollar if she would come and perform in his show for the week. Leona looked at her parents. "This must be your decision," Alice said. Her father nodded. Leona thought for a while. Then with a big smile, she said, "Thank you, sir. I will come and paint at your show." "Be at the showgrounds at first light," the traveling man said. The weight of the silver dollar felt good in the pocket as Leona watched him walk away. So Leona with the man. The next morning, Leona arrived at the carnival under a sky full of fluffy clouds. People oohed and awed as she painted bears and swans and a herd of mighty mustangs. Her heart swelled with happiness. You can see the mighty mustangs across the sky that Leona painted, and the crowds of people watching her. The second day, Leona rose early and hurried to the carnival, eager to paint some more. She had no more begun to do so than a mother with a bawling child hollered. "My Jimmy wants to see a choo-choo train," she said. A boy shouted, "Paint a BB gun! Paint me a BB gun!" Leona did not know what to do. She painted faster, but the requests in the crowd only became more outlandish. "Can you paint standing on your head?" the girl asked. "Paint something with your eyes closed," another called out. When closing time came, Leona ran as fast as she could away from the maddening crowd. She was so very angry, but she waited until she was all alone to let her emotions run free. So this is Leona with the crowd of people yelling at her. Can you see? They would kind of scare me too, wouldn't they? But remember that Leona is angry, and so she paints the clouds again, and her emotions, she just lets her emotions let out, and you can see that now there's a herd of angry buffalo bison running across the sky. The walk back to the carnival was the longest in Leona's young life. She found the tall man with the top hat and told him she could no longer paint for him. Why not? The man exclaimed. Tickets have never sold faster. The lines have never been longer. Your painting is bringing people from far and wide. A newspaper reporter is even coming tomorrow. Why, soon you will be famous. His eyes narrowed. Is this just a play for more money? Oh, no, sir, Leona said. There is not enough money in all the world to make me return. Cloud art is meant to be shared, not sold. And with that, Leona returned the silver dollar to the man. Here's Leona with the man. In the years that followed, Leona never regretted the decision she made that day as a child at the carnival. She had found a place in the world and grown into a fine young woman. That summer, for the first time at the annual Choctaw gathering, Leona found herself painting one of the old tribal dancers as a handsome young soldier looked on. She left that evening on the arm of a young soldier named Alan. Here's Leona painting at the gathering. You can see the soldiers in the sky. Leona and Alan married and moved into a little house of their own in Choctaw country. They had a baby boy, which was all they needed. One child, a child to make their love bigger. What a happy surprise it was, though, when a few years later, a baby girl followed. As all parents learn, the years flew by like clouds on a windy day. Leona soon had more years behind her than before her. The little girl was not only a mother, but a grandmother now as well. There's Leona with her own daughter. A life well lived had given Leona many stories with which to fill the sky. She always made sure to paint the present, for it was history in the making. She always made sure to paint the past, for it was what made the future possible. She always painted the happy times, and she never failed to record the sad ones. Leona knew there were lessons to be learned from both. Here's Leona as an old woman, still painting. Then one day, her great-granddaughter Charlotte came and took her by the hand. Can you come with me? Charlotte asked. Leona slowly rose to follow the child. She reminds me of when I was young, Leona thought, smiling. The thought had no more than floated through Leona's mind like a cloud in a breeze. Then the little girl raised her hand to the sky. This is Leona with her great-granddaughter Charlotte. And let's see what happens in the sky when Charlotte raised her hand. Charlotte has the same gift as Leona. I hope you enjoyed that story of the Choctaw people. Now, someday, you may look up at the sky, and I'm hoping that you may not be this cloud artist, that you'll be lying on your back on the green grass of your own hill. And you look up at the sky that sits over Carlisle and Mount Holly Springs, and you'll see fluffy clouds. You may not actually be able to draw a picture, but if you look really close, you may see that the clouds can take on some interesting shapes. Have a great summer at Spy.